Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So a couple things to cover here. We've got again some more Weiss Schwarz reveals. Mostly, I suppose, just teasing the fact that there is a new update for Avatar Generations that's coming tomorrow, and also another delay for a comic. So let's start here with this. So they finally announced it properly this time around. The first live stream, they only kind of like half announced it on the Discord, and I think a lot of people didn't even get notified of that. But the next dev live stream from the Avatar Generations team is going to be tomorrow, May 16th at 9 a.m. PT. So they are going to give you the update on the upcoming update tomorrow, which is update 1.10, I believe. So this is going to be on Twitch. That's where they stream. Avatar Generations official Twitch. So if you want to check this out at this time, watch it here. This, I believe, is going to take place either, I guess just before or during the kind of, maintenance, because the update that's coming is going to be one where you actually need to download an update for the game. It's not just one of those ones where like you kind of log in on the new day and the stuff is just there. You do actually have to update, I think, for this one. So, let's quickly, I'm not going to go over this because I went over it in my last video, but just to quickly highlight what's actually going to be in this update, because we're a little bit like, we don't actually know. So, they say here there's still 3 playable heroes on the way. Now, this was posted May 10th, which is obviously the day after the Yoon event. Now, they technically posted this earlier on the 9th, just before the Yoon event. So it's a bit unclear about if the 3 playable heroes includes or doesn't include Yoon. Because if it does, then that means Jeonju and Kelsang are the remaining 2 characters. If Yoon isn't included, then it kind of brings Heyron back into play. But we're not really sure about what way they're going to do it, because they don't fully clarify the full scope of this update. So they say here 1.10 tentatively scheduled for 5/16. With the live stream now confirmed, I guess they've locked this in. For sure it is happening on 5/16. That makes sense. They say here, the update will include a new exploration area with an original side story and the introduction of a new villain to the lore. Now, my understanding of this is that this is probably going to be a TLA. Back to that story, doing more content with the new characters. That's why it says original side story, new villain. They're dealing with the original characters there. The next update will then continue Aang's story in terms of the stuff we're familiar with Imprisoned. So that's important to keep in mind. They say after the conclusion of Rise of Kyoshi in 1.10, which is kind of like, okay, that's an interesting one, because like Rise of Kyoshi is the current update that we're in at the moment, which I guess is what, 1.9. So they're saying that, is that just that the remaining 2 weeks of the event will happen during 1.10? Is a little bit like, what does this mean? Because I think it is absolutely pointing to the fact that there's going to be at least a tiny little bit more story about Rise of Kyoshi coming in this update. And the reason for that is, of course, the Jeonju Kelsang event, Peace Chaos, seems to be kind of being promoted around like an upcoming event in the game. So this was the in-game mail that we got for, I suppose, technically like today. So from Jeonju, look at the 2 of you. What you're doing is you're coming home with me. Neither of you are in any shape to argue. And if you've read the novels, you'll know that this is past the point where the story that's so far in the game has happened. A day or 2 ago, we got one from Kelsang, which was like just kind of, again, relating to this as well, the Jeonju Kelsang confrontation that happens. Now, we all know how this ends up playing out, and I think that's why they're teasing Peace Chaos for these 2 characters. But the story hasn't hit this point yet. Like, there's still a few more beats to happen before we get here. There's a couple of conversations, then we kind of head out and we get the Father Glowworm stuff, and then we get the crazy confrontations that sets up the complete next stage of the story. Now, I'm convinced for sure the next update is going to be basically, like, I suppose, the Flying Opera Company update, but it does feel like they kind of might need to do the next little stage of the story. Now, it depends on like how much like content is there necessarily to cover here, where we're up in the mountains for the most part in that section. You can do some in Yokoya, but there probably does need to be a new area. But they haven't said that there is going to be a new area. So from a spoiler perspective, I kind of wonder how they're going to do this, because they're already like teasing a little bit more, given like that some big stuff happens. So I don't know. I'd like to hope there's a bit more story in there, because like where we are right now, the cliffhanger does work, but the cliffhanger I think would also work just as well if it was after the events of the chapter that's called The Spirit. So just to kind of keep that stuff in mind. Otherwise, they talk about other stuff on the horizon. In the next several updates, they're not overly teasing like when specifically any of this stuff will arrive. I know in Discord they talked a little bit about stuff like this Arts Expedition Stage 6, and I think they confirmed that this will be basically all level 3, so the purple arts, which is good, with a chance for level 4 arts, which I think is very good if that chance is higher than kind of typical in the game. So at least it'll be a kind of slightly grindable kind of event for that. So that is good. Similarly, we have the timeline banner that I guess is going to have to happen. I think they said that will be included with this update. I think it has to be, because we'll be getting the ticket tonight, basically, actually, for those of you who like did the first day in a couple of hours just before the day rolled over. Like, I'll have that ticket like tonight. So I think anyway. So they that needs to get added to the game kind of sooner rather than later. So they're kind of teasing what characters are going to be in that banner. Now, they said it's a 5-star character. They also, I think, confirmed Talaric Tug is not going to be in that. So that would leave Avatar Kyoshi, Rangi, Yoon, Tagaka, potentially Kelsang and Jeonju, even though they're in the current banner. We'll see how they do that. And then I wonder, like, will there be any other ones? Like, will there be like a couple of like new kind of maybe more just generic timeline characters in there to just flesh it out a little bit? Might that be where like Heiran is? I don't really know. We have to wait and see. But it should be a reasonable update. Again, is it going to be the biggest update the game has ever had? No, I don't think so. But I think it could surprise us with what is actually here. Either way, I'm excited for Kelsang and Jeonju to come into the game as characters. But that's that. I will do a video on this. The tricky thing with this game always is that when the update is going to happen, it's going to be somewhat late in the day. Now, because of the timing on this, it's usually like slightly earlier than reset, so I might be able to record it tonight, not tonight, tomorrow night, and get it up either really late that night. We'll see how it goes, because like I want to show off my own piece, Chaos Summons. If there's going to be original side story content, I definitely want to cover that. So it might be a long-ish video depending on how much content is actually in here. But you know, just look out for a video in the coming days on the new update for the game. And yeah, this is very much confirming that, like, okay, Kelsang, Jeonju for sure. They always tease the upcoming characters with these messages. Like, we had the tease with Yoon just prior to that, with Tagaka before this. So these characters are coming. We just don't know if the story up to this point is coming with them, but we'll have to see what's going on. Then just a quick comic update. Azula the Spirit Temple has been delayed again. Now, it is just a 1-week delay here. You can see this is now the mass market date is now saying the 17th of October. So what happened before was that the mass market date jumped ahead 2 weeks, 2-week delay. Then I think in my last update, I covered the fact that the comic store date kind of matched that previously, but now they're kind of out of step again. Mass market date has been delayed by a further week. I wouldn't expect the comic book store date to change like immediately, because in a way that was this month's delay for the comics. So I don't know. I'm very confused about what exactly is happening here. I hope these are just the final little last minute adjustment dates to kind of guarantee what's actually happening, because it's beginning to kind of get pushed back, and we want to see what actually comes out of this one, because there's quite a bit of hype behind it, of course. But other than that, there's not much to say. Delays are unfortunate. I don't think it's gotten to extreme levels with this book yet, but a couple more, and I think it feels like we're back to the old Dark Horse once again. Then we are into Weiss Schwarz stuff. So we have a couple of days worth of reveals to cover. So this was, I think, Thursday last week. We got some May cards. So we got May Moody. So it's basically it's one card. It's just the rare version and then the Avatar rare version here. So interesting. May gets an Avatar rare. What looks to be the case with the Avatar rares at the moment is that they're going to give one to the 5 main members of Team Avatar. May gets one, as we'll see coming up in a second. Ty Lee, I believe, gets an Avatar rare as well, which actually only leaves, I think, one Avatar rare slot left in the set. Now, my thoughts on that are that it's either going to be Suki, Iroh, or Azula, but we'll have to wait and see how exactly that goes. But nice kind of May here. You see the rare and then the Avatar rare. I'm guessing this is going to be the highest rarity version of May. They seem to be doing this with some of the key characters, where at some point across either as an SP, as a Avatar rare, or as a super rare, they are giving most of the main notable characters some form of a really nice, clean key art, alternate art card. So here is our version for May, and we'll see others as we go forward, of course. So May in red. On Friday, they revealed these 2 blue cards, Sokka Fire Nation Disguise and Katara Fire Nation Disguise, which are quite good. So, they're both commons, these ones. So these ones don't have alternate arts. And then today's reveal, as you can see here, is another content creator reveal from a Weiss Schwarz content creator. And it is this video, as you can see here, from World Class Card Fighters. So again, all red cards here. There's a mix of some there's 2 Ty Lee, so we get our first Ty Lee cards here, as well as the most notable card here is definitely the double rare Azula, which goes with the first content creator reveals where we had the Zuko. This is the Azula that works with that same climax card. So we have sort of the top level red cards now at the moment. There's still a few more red cards to be revealed. There's a few characters that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen Ozai, who I assume is going to get a card somewhere in all of this. They always give the villain some sort of a card. So I assume he'll maybe be a level 3 or something like that. Zhong we haven't seen. Pian Dao, maybe Ursa. There's a few Fire Nation characters that we haven't seen yet. This is an interesting one, though, because they also, like, in terms of the Ty Lee cards, they of course used this art here, which is obviously from the show, but of course the card game was going to include this. But interestingly, they didn't make this a super high rarity version. The actual Avatar rare Ty Lee is this card, but this is where you get the kind of key art. So you'd think they might have been quote-unquote reversed, but because of the way they're doing it, where again, they seem to be choosing a card for all the key characters and giving them a kind of higher rarity version with the clean art, I think this is actually a pretty nice way to do it. There is the Azula, just in case you wanted to see it. It's called Azula Verge of Insanity. And there's a couple of combos going on with these cards, so definitely check out this video. I'll have it linked below if you want to watch the reveal of this. But yeah, that basically has been the video. Again, I think most of the excitement kind of coming up is definitely for the new update for the game, just to see if they do any more Kyoshi stuff. But otherwise, it's just waiting for stuff to happen. We're, I guess, in the build-up to sort of San Diego Comic-Con. We're still a bunch of weeks away, but, I suppose around this time next month, we'll probably be finding out, like, if there is going to be a panel for Avatar and all this sort of stuff. But otherwise, yeah, we're just waiting for stuff to happen. Also, we should, I guess, be expecting potentially a preview chapter for Legacy of Yang Chen, Book 4. That should be potentially this month if they follow the same release kind of cadence of everything, the same marketing cycle as the last book, where I think we got a preview chapter towards the end of May. It probably should be the same with this as well, because we're getting much closer to the release of that book as well, because again, that's releasing, I guess, around Comic-Con as well. So won't be too far until we have another new novel and things are just kind of beginning to kind of kick off. Like the game is beginning to come into its own. Some of the content is beginning to come out, even though there's been some delays, of course, with Dark Horse. But, it's starting to happen. But in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this news. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.